Donkey Kong Bananza is here, and it is the first 10 out of 10 IGN has given out in a year. It also closes out the Switch 2's launch window and beats Mario Kart World to be the best reason to own the console for now. We have Logan Plant, our DK Bananza reviewer, on today. Let's dig into it on Next Gen Console Watch coming up after these messages. Welcome back to Next Gen Console Watch, our show following the latest developments on the newest gaming hardware. I'm Damon Hatfield. This week, I'm joined by Logan Plant, host of Nintendo Voice Chat and reviewer of Donkey Kong Bananza. Ryan McCaffrey, host of Unlocked and reviewer of Mario Odyssey, Nintendo's last big 3D platformer. And Max Scoville, host of Beyond, who I don't believe has reviewed any first-party Nintendo games, but correct me if I'm wrong, Max. Logan's review... Logan's review of Donkey Kong Bananza is up now. You can read or watch it at IGN or on YouTube. Logan gave it a 10, so it's fair to say he quite liked it. It's actually getting stellar reviews across the board, making it one of the very best reviewed games of the year from any outlet. Currently, probably the best Nintendo Switch 2 game that exists. Logan, briefly summarize your thoughts on Bananza for us.
Yeah, Bananza is such a special 3D platformer. It is a follow-up to Super Mario Odyssey. It just stars Donkey Kong instead of Mario, and that leads to so many new and creative and different things. I kind of liken it to how Tears of the Kingdom was a follow-up to Breath of the Wild, where it took what that did, but just went nuts with it and said, build everything, glue everything together. Bonanza says, break everything, punch through everything, carve through this world in your own way, but it never feels random or just like destruction for the sake of it. It's extremely curated content where if something draws your eye to punch, there's a reason the designers at Nintendo want you to punch it. There's a fossil behind it. Punch that fossil. It leads to a puzzle that leads to a banana. It's just ingenious. It's never a gimmick, and they use it in over 100 smart ways over the course of this 20-hour adventure and into the really great post-game. It has all the wonder of a Super Mario Odyssey, a really fantastic finale, a bunch of charm, and it's one of the best platformers I've ever played.
I do think, it was just announced earlier this year. I've been excited for it since they first revealed it in that direct. Some people were surprised or even a little bit worried that it's not Odyssey 2 or the next big 3D Mario game, that it's, in fact, a Donkey Kong platformer, the likes of which we haven't seen since Donkey Kong 64. But it was made by the team of Mario Odyssey, which, in all likelihood means that we're probably not getting another Odyssey or Mario 3D platformer anytime soon. So what would you say to those people, Logan, that were maybe disappointed by all that?
I'd say play Donkey Kong Bananza, and I don't think you'll be sad about it anymore. I really don't. I think I like this game more than any Mario game besides Odyssey. I'm still going back and forth on which one I like more. I'm leaning Bananza right now, but it kind of changes on the day. They're both 10 out of 10s. It's right up there with it. And I think when you get your hands on it, you'll see how Mario it is. It's like Nintendo invited DK to Mario's house, and he brought along with it a ton of references and moves, but still at its core, it has all the design philosophies of a Mario game. And I think that it just didn't really show like that, because when you watch the original footage of it, it's like, I'm punching this tunnel. I don't really get it, but I think people will get it once they actually play it.
Ryan, you gave Odyssey its 10 back in 2017. You've been calling for or hoping for a follow-up to Odyssey for quite a long time on this show and other IGN projects. How are you feeling about Donkey Kong Bananza now that it's here? Is there any sort of lingering disappointment still, or are you excited to jump in?
No, it's the lingering disappointment, which honestly, I did have some because when it was revealed, like when they first revealed it, it was like, okay, but there's still going to be a 3D Mario game this fall for the 40th anniversary of the console. First big Christmas, first big holiday for Switch 2, right? Right? Mm-hmm. And then when it was confirmed just very recently that this game is in fact Donkey Kong, that is, Bananza, is in fact made by the Odyssey team, it was like, well, I guess we're not getting a 3D Mario game this fall then. And the first time or two that Nintendo showed it, I'll be honest, I wasn't seeing it. I was like, okay, this looks like it'll be fun, but just nowhere near Odyssey level good. Mm-hmm. But for me, it was that last Bananza specific direct that they aired. I think it was about 15 minutes long. That's what turned me from something of a skeptic on this game. Maybe not skeptic's kind of maybe too strong a word, but let's just say I was not super hyped. And then I came out of watching that 15 minutes going, okay, I get it now. This looks like it's going to be awesome. And then when it was confirmed that it was the Odyssey team, I only gain more confidence in it, and that confidence. We are recording this, unfortunately for Max, myself, and Damon. We're recording this on Wednesday afternoon, and we have to wait 6.5 more hours until this game unlocks so that we can play it.
Yeah.
And that's all I want to do now. Logan's review, and quite frankly, the reviews at other outlets, other critics are also giving it 9s and 10s. As you noted, Damon, it's one of the highest reviewed games of the year overall so far. I'm at the point now where I'm just completely ready to go for this. Can't wait to play it. And I will be shocked if this doesn't turn into my personal favorite Switch 2 game of the year, because I like Mario Kart World. It's super fun for sure, but I've never been personally like the biggest kart fan. And then Metroid Prime is kind of weirdly not doing anything for me so far. When I actually play it, I hope that changes. But this game, from what Logan said in his review and all the other reviews so far, it seems like it's going to be probably on IGN's shortlist for Game of the Year. I mean, it did get a 10 after all, so that
I'll be very loud about it. To make
pretty
sure
much
that it is.
automatically means it's going to be on the short list. But so I guess I still don't know when that 3D Mario game's coming. It's not coming for the 40th anniversary this fall, but Bonanza, it sure seems like, is going to make that, as Logan eloquently explained, it'll be more than okay to have Bonanza instead.
Yeah, I am super excited to download it later tonight. Now, Max, you've said before that at launch, when the Switch 2 launched last month, you didn't feel like you really needed one at launch. Has that feeling changed now with the arrival?
Well, I
of
got
Donkey
my
Kong?
hands on one finally.
Yeah, you got one now.
So I'm, been playing it. But yeah, like Mario Kart World, I was really excited for that. I feel like I had, guarded, but, high-ish expectations for a whole open world Mario Kart game. And it kind of fell short of them, like I wasn't, it's a great game. Like, it's a great kart racing game. And I'm excited to see what kind of long-term support it gets, but it's just really, it doesn't feel like a killer app. It doesn't feel like that, like, new toy that I was kind of hoping for from a Switch 2. And hearing all this good stuff about Bonanza is really promising. I'm really excited. I'm extremely glad that I managed to get a Switch 2 in time for this evening to go, go monkey around, go bananas or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Ryan, you keep harping on it being, Mario's 40th anniversary. Excuse me, but I believe last year was Donkey Kong Country's 30th anniversary. The poor gorilla did not get a birthday cake, so let him have some celebrations here.
Well, fair enough. Although you kind of bring me to one other point I wanted to make, Max, which is I want to give Nintendo credit, because, I think it's probably pretty safe to say, I'd be willing to bet lunch on this, that just by virtue of this being a Donkey Kong game and not a 3D Mario game, it's going to sell a lot fewer copies than if this had been a flagship 3D Mario game. And credit to Nintendo for not, for having the financial courage, if you will, to just say, hey, creatively, this is what we want to do. We know it's not going to sell as many millions of copies. And we've already seen that in our own little IGN way on the traffic for our coverage on Bonanza so far. It's been good. Certainly, it's still a big first-party Nintendo game, but it hasn't even touched the traffic that we've gotten on all of our Mario Kart World coverage. And I'll be curious if Logan's review of Bonanza ends up amassing anywhere near as many views as my Odyssey review did. And I don't say that as a competition thing, just as as an interest in, so I'm kind of curious how Bonanza's gonna sell. It will be less than a Mario game would have been, but hopefully it sounds like it sure as heck deserves to sell really, really well, and I hope it does.
I think, like you, Ryan, a lot of people turned around on it during that direct a few weeks ago, and that was kind of the coming out party for that game and how special it was going to be. And it started to click with people and see, oh, this is going to be something special. And since then on IGN, we've seen a lot more pull to it. But you're right, it's still not Mario levels. Very few things are. Yeah,
it's not Mario, but to be fair, the character Donkey Kong was a big part of the Mario Brothers movie. Nintendo is apparently working on another Donkey Kong movie, and they've got playable kiosks at Target up now. So I don't know. It has the potential to surprise us and be more commercially successful than maybe we would expect. But Logan, going back to Mario Kart World, you also reviewed Mario Kart World, gave it an 8 out of 10. Are you surprised that Donkey Kong ended up being more of a killer app for the Switch 2 than Mario Kart World did?
On paper, absolutely, right? Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is such a huge seller. It's one of the best-selling games of all time. So you'd think, and for the casual audience, Mario Kart World will still be that system seller, I think, for families in the holiday. But in terms of like a killer app, the game that you need to pick up a console for, I just connected with this game the day I went hands-on with it in April at the Switch 2 premiere event in New York, the day that these games were both announced for the first time. And I walked away, and I remember talking to Brian Altano and saying, Mario Kart was cool, but Donkey Kong is the one I'm going to go home and not stop thinking about until it's in our hands. And every time we saw more, I just felt crazy because around the industry, people are like, we'll see, we'll see. I'm like, no, this is the 3D Mario team. I sat across from Nintendo of America's Bill Trinan on April 3rd and said, this is the Odyssey team, right? And he's like, well, you'll have to wait and find out. Eventually we did. So I've had a really special feeling about this one for a while, and I'm just so happy with how it turned out.
Yeah, very excited. So if that's the Nintendo Switch 2's killer app now, I'd be curious what we would pick for both Xbox and PlayStation. So Ryan, I'd have to ask, what would you say is the killer app for the Xbox Series X?
That's honestly a really difficult question to answer, Damon, and not because there haven't been great games, but because a lot of the best games are now available on other consoles. So like by definition, I think a killer app has to be something that you need to invest in the platform for versus just playing it on some other platform. Because I would probably say Forza Horizon 5, although that was a cross-gen game. It's not even a Series X exclusive. Mm-hmm. I mean, in terms of Series X exclusives, I guess my answer would have been Indiana Jones. I think that's the best overall Series X only game. And I know Series S2 counts, but we don't need to get that technical. But that was only exclusive for like 5 or 6 months, and now it's out on PS5. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna go with Indie, even though it's now out on PS5. But there are plenty of great games, but there's not a Bonanza good, like there's not a 10 out of 10 on the Series X that's only on the Series X. I can say that, sadly.
Has Flight Simulator come to any other, aside from PC, has it come to anything else yet?
It has not, and that's certainly, we gave the first of the recent flight sims a 10.
2020, yeah.
I think the second one we gave our same reviewer, Seth Macy, who's an aviation nerd, gave it a 9. But that game,
it's not a game,
is barely a game. Exactly. Yeah. So it's
I think
like,
it is a staggering technical achievement, but at the same time, like if someone was like, should I buy the thing where you could play the gorilla game where he smashes things for crystal bananas, or the one where you could fly across the earth? I'd be like, which is more fun in the grand scheme of things?
Yeah. So Max, what would you pick for PlayStation 5?
Oh man, I think early on I would have said Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. If we're thinking about like sort of the same frequency as as Bonanza, kid friendly or just sort of accessible to anybody but fun for everyone. Rift Apart's a good one. Really kind of any of the Spidersman, whatever. Spider-Man 2 was good. I feel like it kind of paled in comparison to the PS4 ones, which did get upgraded PS5 versions.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Astrobot is my current answer, I would say, and I hope that Ghost of Yote gives it a run for its money. But again, if someone's like, should I buy the cute gorilla game or the samurai murder game? I'd be like, who is this for?
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, viewers, we want to know, is Donkey Kong Bonanza the game that's gonna convince you to get a Switch 2, or what game would you buy a Switch 2 for? Did you already do it for Mario Kart World, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Metroid Prime 4, Pokemon Legends, or maybe none of the above? Maybe you're just not interested in a Switch 2. Vote on this poll on the day this episode goes live at IGN.com. We'll share the results with you next episode, just like we can with our last episode's poll results. We asked, have you purchased a Microsoft published game on PlayStation? And over half of respondents, 53%, said no, which I think is a little bit interesting. Considering we know that these games are selling very well on PlayStation. I think like the best selling games on the PlayStation Store are packed with Xbox games, so that's a little bit surprising to hear. But and then equal numbers, about 23% both said yes or not yet, but I plan to. So I also want to let you know before we go, now is a great time to score some incredible games through Humble. Live now through August 5th, you can grab Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader, Daemon Ex Machina, Death Store, Cat Quest 3, and more. Plus, every purchase supports a good cause. And this month, your Humble Choice membership supports Covenant House. You get a curated mix of PC games every month, all for just $14.99, or use code July25 and get it all for just $10. Whether you're building your backlog or discovering something new, it's the perfect time to pick up these fan favorites. And that is our show for you this week. Thank you to Ryan, Logan, and Max for joining me today. Thank you to everyone working behind the scenes to make this episode possible. My name is Damon. We're going to take a week off for Comic-Con next week, but make sure to tune in to all of our Comic-Con coverage. We'll have a live show for you both next Friday and Saturday with lots of fun stuff. I know we've got Alien Earth on there, Predator Badlands, good stuff that's relevant to the IGN audience. We'll be back in 2 weeks with more on the latest gaming hardware news. We'll see you then.